Imagine standing at your granddaughter's graduation. The auditorium is buzzing with excitement, the air thick with pride. She walks across the stage, her cap bobbing, her smile wide enough to light the whole room. You raise your hands to clap, but suddenly your palms feel heavy, your arms too weak to lift. Your legs wobble under you, and instead of cheering, you find yourself sinking into the chair. You're breathless, your chest tight, and all you can manage is a faint smile while your family glances at you with quiet concern. They whisper, "It's just age catching up." But in the back of your mind, a sharper question stings. What if it's something more? This is the kind of moment that stays with you, not because of the joy of the event, but because of the uneasy shadow it casts. Seniors don't fear getting older in itself. We know it comes with a few gray hairs, slower steps, maybe a pair of reading glasses perched on the nose. The deeper fear is something else entirely. Losing independence, missing the milestones of children and grandchildren, becoming the one everyone worries about, or worse, becoming a burden when we want so badly to remain strong. I've met countless men and women who brushed off those little warning signs. They thought fatigue was just part of their 70s, that breathlessness was just being out of shape, that chest discomfort was only indigestion. Take Helen, a retired school teacher in Ohio. She loved tending her roses, but one spring she noticed she had to stop and rest after only 10 minutes. She blamed the humidity. 2 weeks later, she was rushed to the hospital, doctors telling her it was her heart all along. Then there's Robert, a grandfather from Arizona who used to play catch with his grandson every Saturday. One day he found himself unable to jog even a few steps without feeling dizzy. He laughed it off until a fainting spell proved the laughter wrong. These aren't tragedies. They are wake-up calls that turned lives around because they finally paid attention. Here's the startling truth. Nearly half of all heart-related hospital visits among seniors begin not with crushing chest pain, not with a dramatic collapse like in the movies, but with something as ordinary as fatigue. Fatigue so subtle it could be mistaken for a bad night's sleep. So easy to ignore that weeks slip by before anyone connects the dots. The heart rarely shouts in the beginning, it whispers. And if we don't listen, those whispers can grow into storms. Everyday joys often carry the clues. Think about the barbecue in your backyard, smoke curling into the summer air as you flip burgers. Suddenly you're short of breath, handing the spatula to someone else because you can't finish the job. Or Sunday morning at church, singing the hymns you've sung for decades, only to realize your voice falters because your lungs can't keep up. Or that peaceful afternoon in the garden, hands deep in soil, when you notice you're too drained to finish planting. These are not simply signs of aging. They can be heart alarms, disguised as ordinary tiredness, asking for attention, and yet there is a difference between normal tiredness and the kind that should raise a red flag. Normal tiredness melts away with rest, with a good night's sleep, with a glass of water and a moment to catch your breath. Heart alarm. Tiredness lingers. It shows up even after rest. It interrupts activities that used to bring you joy. It makes you feel like you are not yourself, like your body has quietly changed the rules without telling you. I know this is difficult to hear. It may stir unease, maybe even fear, but hidden inside fear is power, the power to act before it's too late. Recognizing these moments is not about dwelling on decline. It's about stepping into control, about reclaiming the right to live fully, about ensuring that graduations, birthdays, weddings, and Sunday picnics remain chapters you get to enjoy, not watch from the sidelines. The reason I share these stories and the reason you're watching this right now is because knowledge can be the difference between missing out and showing up strong. This is not a message of despair. It is a wake-up call filled with hope. You are not powerless. Your body is speaking, and when you learn to listen, you open the door to solutions. Simple, everyday choices that can make your heart stronger and your life brighter. So stay with me, because in the next parts of this video, we're going to unravel the 3 biggest signals your heart might be sending, how to tell them apart from ordinary aging, and most importantly, how to respond in ways that restore energy, confidence, and joy. You'll hear stories of seniors who turn things around, and you'll discover small but powerful habits you can start today. If this message has already touched something inside you, if you've ever felt that wobble in your legs or that breathlessness that didn't quite make sense, I invite you to join our community here at VER Senior Thrive. By subscribing, you're not just supporting this channel, you're giving yourself a lifeline of encouragement, knowledge, and connection with people walking the same path. Click subscribe, tap the bell, and stay with us. Together, we'll turn whispers into wisdom and keep building lives that thrive, not just survive. Your body is sending postcards every single day. Are you reading them? They don't arrive in your mailbox, stamped and sealed, but they show up in the rhythms of your energy, the breath in your lungs, the feelings in your chest. They are quiet notes, subtle whispers, almost easy to miss, yet each one contains a clue to the mystery of how well your heart is really doing. Think of yourself as a detective, piecing together signals that don't always look dramatic, but when combined, tell a story that can change your life. One of the first postcards is what I call an energy crash that steals your spark. You know those afternoons when you feel as if someone has pulled the plug on your battery, even though you slept fine the night before? Not just the ordinary slump after a big meal, but a sudden, puzzling emptiness of energy that interrupts your day. Maybe you find yourself forgetting a word in mid-sentence, as if your brain lost the thread. Maybe you sit down to do a crossword puzzle you've always loved, only to feel foggy and unable to focus. These moments aren't simply senior moments. They can happen when circulation slows and your brain and muscles aren't getting the oxygen they need. Reduced blood flow doesn't just leave you tired, it chips away at your spark, the sharpness that makes you feel like yourself. The postcard your body is sending here reads, "Pay attention. Something deeper is happening." Another signal arrives in those breathless moments that feel out of place. Climbing stairs and breathing harder makes sense. We expect that. But what about singing along to your favorite Sinatra tune and finding yourself out of breath halfway through? Or picking up the phone to chat with your sister and realizing you have to pause mid-story just to catch your breath? That's not normal aging. That's a heart-lung conversation gone wrong. When the heart isn't moving blood efficiently, the lungs feel it. And suddenly the simple act of breathing during ordinary activities becomes a challenge. Breath should be automatic, invisible, not something you fight for while enjoying a hobby or conversation. When those moments arrive, they are postcards from your body, stamped with urgency. Something is straining here. Don't dismiss me. The third postcard is perhaps the trickiest because it likes to wear disguises. Chest pressure that masquerades as something else can be one of the most misleading signals of heart trouble. Hollywood has trained us to think of heart pain as dramatic, someone clutching their chest and falling to the floor. In reality, it can feel much subtler, much sneakier. It might be a heaviness in your jaw while you're chewing. It might show up as a dull ache in your back after a walk. It can even mimic indigestion, a sour burn that convinces you it was just the chili at last night's cookout. These disguises are why so many people ignore them until it's too late. But when discomfort keeps returning, when it doesn't match the foods you eat or the posture you're in, it may not be your stomach or your muscles. It may be your heart quietly waving a red flag. Here's where you, the detective of your own health story, get to play an active role. Right now, while you're watching, try a small test. Stand up, walk across the room, and then sit back down. Notice how long it takes before you feel comfortable again. If you're winded for more than half a minute, that's a clue worth paying attention to. Another simple check: press pause later and take note of whether you've been experiencing unexplained fatigue or chest sensations that don't add up. These are your clues, and writing them down is like keeping evidence in your own case file. I'd love to hear your stories. Have you ever been surprised by breathlessness while doing something as simple as laughing with a friend, or folding laundry, or singing in church? If so, type yes in the comments. You'll be amazed how many others nod in recognition, realizing they're not alone. And sharing these moments isn't about fear. It's about building a circle of awareness where one person's story might give another person the nudge they need to get checked out. There's a certain thrill in solving a mystery and catching the meaning behind a subtle clue. When it comes to your health, that thrill is matched by the relief of knowing you've caught something early enough to act. These postcards from your body are not punishments. They are gifts, reminders that you are still alive, still capable of hearing the messages that matter. The mystery is solvable, but only if you choose to read the signs. So keep your detective's hat on, because in the next part, we'll turn the clues into action. Practical, hopeful steps that can bring your spark back, steady your breath, and loosen the weight from your chest. Here's the part that brings hope: small, joyful habits that add years, not just days, to your life. Fear has a way of shrinking us, of making the world feel like it is closing in. But when we learn to turn that fear into fuel, it can open the door to something entirely different: a season of growth, energy, and joy. This is not about living with a list of restrictions. It's about creating rituals that feel like celebrations, practices you can look forward to because they enrich your days instead of weigh them down. The heart does not just beat to keep us alive, it beats to let us thrive. Let's begin at the table, because food is not only medicine but memory. You've heard the advice about salmon and spinach 1,000 times, but let's reimagine the menu with American classics that make you smile. Picture Sunday morning, the scent of blueberry pancakes rising from the griddle. Except this time you swap the white flour for oat flour, add a drizzle of pure maple syrup, and enjoy a breakfast that keeps your blood vessels flexible while still tasting like comfort. Or summer on the patio with friends, the grill sizzling with turkey burgers topped with creamy avocado. You bite in and realize you're savoring something as satisfying as beef, but kinder to your heart. And for dessert, a square of dark chocolate, not a guilty pleasure, but a heart-strengthening gift, rich in antioxidants. When you shift your perspective, food no longer feels like a rule book. It feels like a celebration of the flavors you already love, only tuned to the rhythm of health. Movement is the second pillar, and here's the truth: exercise doesn't need to feel like punishment. Imagine pushing back the chair in your living room, turning on a Motown classic, and letting your body sway in a chair dance. Your arms stretch, your feet tap, your laughter rises with the music. That's not a workout, it's a party. Or take grocery cart cardio, where a trip to the supermarket becomes a stroll with purpose. As you move through the aisles, you push your cart with intention, walking a little faster, breathing a little deeper, and turning errands into exercise. And then there's laughter yoga offered in more and more senior centers. You sit in a circle, chuckle at first on command, and then the chuckles catch, rolling into real laughter that lifts your chest, strengthens your diaphragm, and eases tension in ways no medicine can. These movements don't just keep the heart strong, they keep the spirit alive. But we cannot stop with the body alone. The mind has its own role in the orchestra of health. Guided imagery is one of the simplest yet most profound practices. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and picture your heart as a sturdy oak tree. See its roots gripping deep into the soil, its trunk steady, its branches reaching wide. Each inhale feeds its strength, each exhale releases the weight it carries. Studies show that this kind of visualization lowers stress hormones, improves resilience, and helps regulate the heartbeat. The practice is not abstract. It is a way to remember that within you is something unshakable, something that has weathered storms and will continue to grow strong if nourished. And what about the people around you? Community can be as healing as any prescription. Try starting walking Wednesdays in your neighborhood, where a few friends meet at the same spot and share not only steps but stories. Or create Family Fit Fridays, where grandkids join you for an evening walk, turning health into a legacy of connection. These rituals are not about counting miles. They are about laughter, encouragement, and the quiet joy of knowing you are not alone in this effort. Technology, too, can serve as a companion rather than a burden. Devices like Fitbit or Apple Watch are not meant to overwhelm. They are gentle reminders, modern companions that sit quietly on your wrist. With a tap, you can check your pulse, see how oxygen flows through your body, or even receive an alert if your rhythm shifts in a way that deserves attention. Think of it as having a wise friend who nudges you kindly. I'm here. I'm watching with you. The real payoff of these practices is not measured only in numbers like blood pressure or cholesterol. It is felt in the warmth of moments reclaimed, sitting at a family dinner without fatigue pressing you down, singing a song without losing your breath, holding your great-grandchild without worry tugging at your chest. These are not chores. They are the rituals that connect you back to your life, your culture, and the people you love. They remind you that fear is not the end of the story. With the right habits, fear becomes power, and that power translates into days that feel fuller, brighter, and more your own. Picture yourself dancing at your great-grandchild's wedding, the band playing a familiar tune, your feet steady, your smile unshaken. The people around you look on with pride, whispering, "That's what living looks like." This isn't just a dream meant for someone else. It's a choice you can begin to nurture today. Every beat of your heart is more than circulation. It is a promise, a chance to live fully in the moments that matter most. Heart health is not only about numbers on a chart. It is about independence, dignity, and the power to keep creating memories that last beyond our years. When your heart is strong, you hold on to the freedom to decide how you spend your days, whether it's driving to visit a friend, attending Sunday service, or joining your family around the dinner table. You are not on the sidelines. You are in the story, shaping it with your presence. That independence is one of the greatest gifts you can preserve for yourself because it keeps you connected to the life you've built. There is also a gift in prevention, and it extends far beyond you. By caring for your heart today, you are offering your family something priceless, the reassurance that you will be there to witness their milestones, to share their burdens, and to pass along the wisdom only you carry. Think of your daughter watching you walk confidently into the room, relieved to see that you are well. Think of your grandson learning resilience, not from a lecture, but from watching how you care for yourself. These are lessons that shape generations. Preventing heart trouble is not only an act of self-preservation, it is an act of love. On a deeper level, there is something spiritual about this work. Many traditions teach that the body is a temple, a vessel of sacred worth. Your heart has carried a lifetime of love, first dates, weddings, goodbyes, reconciliations, births, and endless everyday acts of kindness. To care for your heart is to honor that temple, to treat it as worthy of protection and reverence. When you breathe deeply, when you eat with intention, when you move your body in gratitude, you are not just avoiding disease, you are offering respect to the vessel that has allowed you to love and be loved. From a cultural perspective, American seniors have always embodied resilience. This generation has lived through wars, recessions, social upheavals, and astonishing progress. The younger generation is watching, searching for examples of strength and vitality. By choosing to prioritize heart health, you send them a powerful message. Aging is not fading. It is teaching, leading, and continuing to shine. Imagine the pride in your family when they see that you do not retreat from life's challenges, but instead rise to meet them with grace. That legacy may inspire your grandchildren to care for their own health sooner, to follow your model of vitality instead of surrendering to decline. And then there is the matter of legacy in the most personal sense. Staying healthy means you have more time to pass down the recipes only you know, the family traditions that tell your story, the wisdom gathered from decades of living. It means one more fishing trip with your son, one more holiday pie baked with your granddaughter, one more story told by the fire that sparks laughter and tears in equal measure. These are not small things. They are the threads of memory that outlast possessions, the treasures your family will carry long after you are gone. A strong heart gives you more chances to give those treasures. So I ask you to take this message to heart, literally. If you found even one spark of encouragement in this conversation, let it grow into action. Subscribe to this channel, Senior Thrive, not as a favor to us, but as an act of connection to a community that wants you to flourish. Share this video because you never know whose life might be changed by a reminder at the right time. It could be your best friend, your neighbor, or even someone in your own family who needs to hear this before it's too late. And tell us in the comments, what's one small step you will take today for your heart? Speaking it aloud makes it real, and your commitment might encourage someone else to begin. Your story is not finished. Your heart still has chapters left to write, dances left to join, words left to say. Do not settle for survival when you were made for fullness. Protect your heart, cherish it, and let it carry you toward the moments that matter most. Your heart story isn't finished. Make it a masterpiece.